Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
You guys are melting gummy bears and then putting it on each other's skin.
We melted them. I did it on her. There was no problem. Then when she did it on me, I ended up with a severe burn.
The whole purpose behind law is to right wrong. I want justice to be something that isn't this foreign concept.
Justice knows no boundaries. The truth will be heard. Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Dina Calloway is suing her ex-girlfriend Joyce Ann Moses in the amount of $1,116.72 to recoup medical bills stemming from an intimate encounter gone wrong. Ms. Moses claims she offered to pay the bills 2 years ago, and the plaintiff is just bitter because she's moved on.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Ms. Calloway, you're suing Ms. Moses for $1,116.72 over a very unusual injury that you sustained.
Yes, that's correct.
I did smile when I saw this case. I can't wait for you to share it with the rest of us.
Joyce and I were a couple. A little over 2.5 years ago, we had an incident where we were intimate. We had some gummy bears left over from Halloween, and she thought it would be fun to spice things up by bringing in some gummy bears, so we melted them. I did it on her. There was no problem. Then when she did it on me, I ended up with a severe burn.
All right. And so you guys are melting gummy bears and then putting it on each other's skin, right?
Yeah.
And was this your idea, Ms. Moses?
Your Honor, it was her pack of gummy bears, okay, and it was her idea, okay, for me to melt them.
No.
We were feeding them to each other,
No.
but she decided, yes.
No.
Okay, those are your favorite little snacks, okay?
I like to eat them. I don't like to have them on my body, scalding me.
Well,
you wanted me to do some freaky stuff to you,
Okay,
okay? You
so
have
wait.
But not gummy bears.
always been the freak.
Hold on. Who likes the gummy bears to begin with?
She does, Your Honor.
I like to eat them. I don't like to have them on my flesh.
The gummy bears would not have been, did you all live together at that time?
We lived together at the
Yes,
time.
Your Honor.
So the person that brings the gummy bears into the house, that's
It's her.
you.
That was me.
That was you.
It wasn't my idea to bring them into the
Well, how is
bedroom.
it that Ms.
right.
Moses didn't get burned, but you did get burned?
Okay, well, when I did it on her, I did it on her first. It was fine, no problem. When she did it on me, she heated up the...
did you just put the gummy bears on her person?
Yeah, melted gummy bears. But when she did it to me, she heated them up a lot more, so they were hotter, and it's not something I wanted to do to begin with.
Okay, so you had this injury.
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny. I mean, going to the hospital. Well, why are you here? Well, it involves gummy bears.
I mean, it wasn't my dad's...
Your Honor, she's always coming up with some new little thing to do. Oh, let's try this with the
No,
cucumber.
no.
Let's
Okay,
try
my
this.
dad
This
is-
time it was the gummy bears, okay? And you
okay,
know you
okay.
love gummy bears.
He didn't
You
even
like to
ask
do-
Way
about
too
what
much
we're doing.
information,
This
Deputy
is too
Thomas.
much.
You know, so, you know.
I mean, I don't even like to... You know, my dad's a
Sweetie,
doctor.
you
We
eat
went
gummy
to-
bears in the bathroom. You love gummy bears.
It's not about the gummy bears.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
it's
about-
about, because you didn't just get burned. You got seriously burned.
Badly. My father is a
even doubt that.
doctor,
She didn't.
so I went to my father. At the time, he didn't know I was out, so I told him it was a kitchen injury.
What do you mean that you were out where?
Out of the closet.
Oh, in terms of-
he
he
thought
didn't know
Joyce
you
was my
were
roommate.
gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweetie,
now
you have... Okay.
he does.
All right.
And what, did he have an issue with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I come
You
from
had
a
an
very...
issue with it. You
Well,
had
wait a
an
minute.
issue
My
with it.
parents...
You
I
all were in
have
a
to pay these bills
Let's-
because...
Stop. Let's go back. Why are you saying that she had an issue with being gay?
Your Honor, she had a big issue with being gay a little over 2 years ago. Dina and I were in a relationship. We were cohabitating, and she was someone that I was in love with at the time.
Okay.
I had proposed to her.
You proposed to her?
I proposed to her.
Oh, you were
and
serious?
she accepted. Yes, I was very serious.
Is that true?
That it is true.
Okay.
And you felt the same about Ms. Moses?
Absolutely.
She had no issues with letting me know that when we initially began our relationship that she was indeed gay. Okay.
Right.
I had no idea when she and I began to see each other and date that she had an issue with actually letting people know. Okay, because the way she came on to me, it was like fair game. You know,
Okay.
she
She's
was
not
cool
my
with
dad.
it. Okay.
She's not my dad.
Well, parents, it's a whole, I would
Yeah,
imagine
I
it would
know.
be a different
It's
thing.
different.
She made it seem to me that she was just this great liberal when it came on to being gay. And so I had no idea that she was creeping around Daddy like Daddy doesn't know. Okay?
But is that unusual?
That's
I'm
not
not saying
unusual.
it's
That's
unusual.
contract-
Well, no, I'm asking
It's
you.
not.
But hold on. Is that unusual?
In some cases, yes.
All right. And in many cases, it's not unusual that people
Right.
say, well, just because
Well-
I have a certain sexual orientation, that doesn't mean I want
Exactly. You're
everyone
exactly
to know.
right, Your Honor. You
And
have
you had been with her for how long?
I have been with her for 3 years, but this incident took place a little over 2 years ago.
Okay, so the whole time you all are together, are you saying that your dad didn't know?
My dad didn't know. That's actually what we broke up over. When we got engaged, she wanted me to come out to my parents, and I just didn't feel comfortable doing
weren't ready.
that.
You weren't ready. You weren't ready.
I wasn't ready. No,
Okay.
absolutely not. No.
And,
Your Honor,
and
it
why
wasn't
was it such a big deal that she do it on your timeline?
It wasn't that it was such a big deal. She kept, at one point, she lied to me and told me that she did tell her parents, okay?
Oh,
And-
okay. Now,
yes.
see, that's a whole different thing.
So
Is that true? Well, let me ask her. Did you tell Ms. Moses, I told my family they're cool with it or they have issues, but we're going to work through it? Or did you say,
Yeah.
Like she's lying about
I
the
did
gummy
that.
bears. Same
okay.
thing.
Well, wait. I got the gummy bear thing.
Okay.
Coming up on America's Court,
Did you apply hot gummy bears to her body?
We applied them on each other.
I'm not talking about we. I'm talking about did you apply hot gummy bears to her body?
After she applied them to me, yes,
So
Your
so
Honor.
why can't you just say yes?
and later,
My son had to be rushed to the hospital because he had got his teeth knocked out.
Julius, he's kind of an impulsive individual.
closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Dina Calloway, who is suing Joyce Ann Moses to recoup medical bills.
Here's the question. Did you apply hot gummy bears to her body?
We applied them on each other.
I'm not talking about we. I'm talking about did you apply hot gummy bears to her body?
After she applied them to me, yes,
so
Your Honor.
so why can't you just say yes?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
All right. Did she suffer some sort of injury as a result?
She suffered some redness of skin.
Okay.
No.
You deflect every question I ask you.
Yes, Your Honor, she suffered some type of
All right.
injury as a
When
result.
you saw that she had suffered an injury, what was your reaction back then?
I was horrified. You know,
Okay.
that was my. It's like any
So did
normal
you
reaction.
feel a certain responsibility and that you had applied it?
Yes,
All
I
right.
did, and
so
I
you
offered.
felt the response to her being in pain.
Of course, Your Honor. Yes.
Was there any conversation about you paying for her medical expenses as a result?
Yes, Your Honor. of
What was that
course.
conversation?
Naturally, I felt really bad. We were engaging in some sexual acts, and I saw that it was quite inflamed and red. And I said, you know, everything is on me. I will be happy to take care of this.
Stop.
I felt okay.
You said everything is on you. And why did you say that?
Because I felt that at the time she was in pain, and it was my responsibility since I actually lit that part. Okay.
And is that true that she make this statement that everything's on me and I'm going to be responsible?
She did.
Got it. And based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel must come down in favor of the defendant. You all are from California. The statute of limitations when you have some sort of injury, personal injury, is 2 years. You are trying to sue her beyond the period that legally you can. Your matter's dismissed. Case closed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The statute of limitations had expired for the plaintiff's claim.
I hope that she has the closure that she needs and that she can move on now.
I'm disappointed. I hope her current girlfriend knows to stay away from gummy bears.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
My son had to be rushed to the hospital because he had got his teeth knocked out.
Julius, he's kind of an impulsive individual.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Kimberly Jones is suing Program Director Earl Bryant in the amount of $500. She says her child was injured in a fistfight while under the care of Mr. Bryant. The defendant claims he did everything in his power to look after Ms. Jones' child.
Ms. Jones, why should you get this $500 from Mr. Bryant over this incident involving your son?
Because on April 7th, Mr. Bryant called me and he said that my son had to be rushed to the hospital because he had got his teeth knocked out, bleeding everywhere. And he calls me while I'm at work, and it's just appalling to me. And I was in shock. That's because, you know, he calls me and he says, someone hit my son in the mouth and took his teeth out.
All right. Sir?
Judge, I'm going to use this word hate because it's very strong, but I hate that this incident took place. I'm the director of Generation Future. We have about 30 boys and about 15 girls. We run a center. It's an after-school program, gymnasium. We also have arts and crafts there. And I hate that this incident took place.
Well, how did it happen?
Well, from my understanding, Judge, is that...
You weren't there?
Well, no, I wasn't there directly.
Were you
I got
at the
called
facility?
in. Excuse
Were
me?
you at the facility at all?
Yes, yes.
Right. So you were physically there, you just didn't see the actual incident.
Indeed, yes.
And so what was the incident that caused, what's your son's name?
Julius.
What caused Julius to be hit in the mouth and he needed to be rushed to the hospital?
Well, there was another youth there by the name of Brandon.
Okay.
Brandon and Julius got into an altercation, first verbally, at which point, I hate to say it, because...
What was the altercation verbally or otherwise about?
It was about bawling. You know, Brandon wanted next on the basketball court, but Julius, he's kind of an impulsive individual.
No.
Matter of fact, I had problems with Julius before. You know, I
Wait,
met...
you said no immediately. Not my baby, huh?
Not my baby.
Uh-huh.
Not my baby. You know, I mean, he's a boy, yes, and they do
Well,
those things.
yes. How old is he?
Okay, he's 12.
He's 12. Is this your daughter?
Yes, it is.
Oh, come on up. All right. So we can let her talk for herself.
My sweet girl.
All right. So, Ms. Bryant, what was that about?
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm sorry.
What was that about? She's just here to
sorry.
tell us what. No, what was that about that you did just now?
Well, that day, she was there, but wasn't there to watch that altercation.
How do you know that?
My Julius told me, and she told me.
Do you believe everything Julius
No.
tells you?
No, I don't.
All right, so let me hear from Ms. Bryant,
Okay.
and then once you hear from her, then you can ascertain whether or not she has credibility in what she's speaking about. But to just dismiss her already means, you know, my baby is going to always tell me the truth, and anybody else who says something inconsistent is a liar.
I understand.
Right? Ms. Bryant, what happened?
Well, my father was in the office. I was the closest one, the first responded. I was in the hallway on hall monitor duty. The policy is you sign up for your time at the basketball court. We were dealing with other kids.
Yes.
Brandon came out complaining that Julius was not giving him court time. I asked Brandon if his name was on the list. He said no. I told him that he needed to have his name on the list,
Right.
or he needed to find some other kids to play with,
Or figure
pick
out a way
up.
for them all to play together.
Exactly.
Right.
So by the time he runs back in frustration, I'm dealing with the other two kids, finish signing them up. I go to check on the actual gym. We don't have people in there all the time. We go in 10, 20 minutes, you know,
Okay.
check on the kids. By this time, not even 5 minutes, that's when Julius was rushing out. They were rushing him out with a bloody mouth.
Coming up on America's Court.
Sir, you didn't see what happened.
No.
You didn't see what happened.
No.
You didn't see what happened.
No.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Kimberly Jones, who is suing Earl Bryant for the cost of her son's medical bills.
Sir, you didn't see what happened.
No.
You didn't see what happened.
No.
You didn't see what happened.
No.
Julius is telling you that this other kid, Brandon, was the aggressor. Yes? He was hit. he didn't do anything, this guy just hit him. Show me what you have.
Evidence, please.
You're
And
being
yet-
told that Julius was the aggressor.
Yes. When they brought Julius out with his mouth busted, I went in and I grabbed Brandon. 2 other students that were playing basketball was holding Brandon. I put him in my office. I put the other students in the front office.
Okay.
And I asked each one of them what happened because my dad was dealing with Julius and calling the paramedics.
After the fact.
So I asked him what happened.
How'd it go?
Exactly,
fact.
what
To this
happened.
degree.
The other students told me that Brandon came back apparently after he spoke with me and I told him he had to sign up. He came back mad, confronted Julius, didn't put his hands on him. Julius was the aggressor and pushed
But-
Brandon, almost tripping him, making him fall.
no.
That's when Brandon decided to self-defend
Retaliate.
himself and pulled his combination out and hit him with it.
A combination lock. How about that?
Wait, that went too fast.
Yes. He hit
A
him with a
combination
combination
lock
lock.
that you
Yes.
used to lock, like a locker,
Yes.
Let me interject
and he put it in his
explain.
hand, and then he hit Julius?
It wasn't premeditated, Your Honor.
Well,
You know, let me explain the lock.
Stop.
Well, we have evidence here too, Your
Show
Honor,
me.
where she signed a waiver, and if you look at the highlighted areas,
Thanks. Yes. Because there's no disputing,
But no weapon.
there's no disputing the cost. And was this some sort of mouth guard?
Yes.
This is the type of mouth guard that normally people wear after they have had braces.
Right. But this is to keep his teeth in place.
I see.
And so he wears it at night, sometimes in the daytime, but mostly at night to keep them,
And
together.
were they able to salvage the teeth?
Yes.
yes, I acted immediately. I got the teeth, and I made sure that, when
Okay, so
the-
what takes place at the gym, that there could be personal injuries, possibly death, property damage,
Right.
because you're in this environment. Bold as day, I hereby assume these risks of participation in an open gym program.
But it
The
didn't say
question
anything about weapons.
becomes, and then it says you release them from any sort of liability.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the defendant. Because you signed a release of liability on their part. Now, to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't let anyone participate in this unless they signed a release, if it were my business, because some things are just unforeseeable. Why you didn't choose to go after the party that was truly wrong, because even though in suing the kid, you're actually suing the adults of that kid, but I think you need to be paid and you need to go after them. As to this, your judgment, I can't sustain it. That's it. Case closed.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I love Kimberly's son, just like I love my beautiful daughter. It's a shame that more fathers can't be there for their children.
And I will resolve this with Brandon's parents.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.